Well, good Wednesday morning, Good Shepherd family. For me, it's early Tuesday morning. Tropical storm Elsa is churning its way west of Key West right now. And by the time you watch this, it will probably have passed our area. Um, Thankfully, it doesn't look like we're going to have a whole lot of wind from this one. Going to be quite a bit of rain. Uh, this afternoon, actually, Desiree and I will be leaving here and chasing into the tropical storm. We're going to be heading south to Naples, and it will be about west of Naples by the time we get down to Naples, but it'll be out in the Gulf, so we'll be fine, but we'll be in a lot of rain probably. And then we're going to be heading east across the state away from it and down to Key Largo. Our daughter and son-in-law and their kids are in town, and we'll be spending some time with them in Key Largo. My son-in-law and oldest grandson will be getting open water scuba certified, so this is kind of their initial foray into scuba diving. So this is the first of my dad's great grandkids that will be scuba divers. So it's quite the family tradition that we have here. So we'll be gone for a couple of days for today, Wednesday for you, and Thursday. Father Bob and Deacon Michael are aware I'm out of town. If there happens to be any clergy concerns, needs, you can reach out to one or the other of them, and I will be back Friday back here. I thought I'd mention briefly, last week in my chat I did the same thing. I may do it in a shorter version today. Highlight a point in my sermon from last Sunday. And the reason I'm doing this, I happened to Sunday afternoon read an article, a news article that discussed patriotism and love of country, which is kind of what I talked about in my sermon that morning. And so I thought I'd read a couple points that he makes here as it relates to our country, but also as it relates to us in our community as a faith community, as Good Shepherd. So this article, it's an opinion piece in the news written by E.J. Dion Jr. And the author writes this: maybe the best reason to love the United States is that it's a place where people are free not to love it. In our country, criticism is constant, disagreement is perpetual, our understanding of our own history is constantly changing. He goes on to say, we're the land of new births of freedom, new deals, and new frontiers. We embrace patriotic symbols with such ferocity that our protests are frequently organized around them. And he goes on through this article further on to reference a speech given by former President Barack Obama in Selma, Alabama in 2015, honoring the 50th anniversary of the Bloody Sunday March for voting rights in America. And President Obama said this: we respect the past, but we don't pine for the past. We don't fear the future, we grab for it. So the author of the article goes on to say, true love can never mean pretending that the object of your affection, i.e. the United States of America, this object of our affection is perfect, as Baker acknowledges. It means believing that the person or country you revere is capable of transformation, and having confidence that school kids won't love their country any less if they're taught honestly about its flaws, its failures, and even its grave sins. So as I read this, I was thinking obviously about our country, and referencing transformation is interesting because that's really a key theme in my life, for me personally, as well as for our parish life, that we are continuing to be transformed more and more into the image of Christ, and more into an intimate relationship with God. And so what I thought was interesting in this article related to our country also relates spiritually, religiously to our people as a people of faith, as Christians, that we desire to continue to move towards transformation. And he says this, having confidence that school kids won't love their country any less if they're taught honestly about its flaws, its failures, and even its grave sins. And I hope you've seen in my time so far since I've been with this beautiful church family that I try to do pretty good at being okay with my flaws. And when Sunday morning happens and things don't flow perfectly, I can make a joke about it, or I can smile about it, or I can snicker just a little bit about it. And I hope that makes it okay for us as a body of Christ to acknowledge, as we are being transformed, we have these whoops moments, we have these flaws moments, we have these moments when the lesser of our perfect angels pops its head up. And that this is a place, while we are being transformed, that we can acknowledge those places within us that are not yet transformed and that are less than perfect, and that we can continue to say, hey, do you see something in me that is maybe hindering me from further growth and further transformation? And hopefully we can be in relationships with one another like that, that we can be okay with sharing each other's burdens and lifting each other up and being a mirror for each other. Now, what that doesn't mean, it doesn't mean I can just go around and just point out all the flaws in others and don't look at the flaws in myself. Jesus did say something about that. You know, he talked about don't worry about the speck in your brother's eye when you've got a log in your own eye. But I hope we can, as we continue to grow, that we can continue to be open to others and say, hey, if as a good friend, if you see something in my life that is maybe holding me back or something, in a place of great love for me, you feel free to point it out. And so hopefully those things are things we can do as a body of Christ here, that we can continue to nudge each other forward spiritually in our relationship with God. Okay, that's enough of that. I've mentioned about my travels and leaving here, Father Bob and Deacon Michael being here. Let's see, the only other thing, this coming Saturday is going to be a busy day. We have a graveside, a committal service. It's nobody directly connected to our parish. It's a little bit of a distant connection, but I will be pretty much the only one serving that service on Saturday night. We will have our Saturday evening service, and so we will have that, and I believe that's 5 o'clock Saturday evening, and then Sunday morning our 9 o'clock service. So may God's blessings be with you while I'm off diving in Key Largo and hanging out with the family. I also will be praying for you, and trust that you all will be safe the rest of this week, and looking forward to seeing you when I get back. God's blessings.